Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ian Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports. R&R on
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. My name is Howard Robertson.
And I am the great one, the most fantastical Larry Robinson in the house, America. What's up? What's up with you, brother?
The most delusional.
Delusion? Why has it got to be? Why has it always got to be something negative when you relate to me? I mean, it should be.
It's not.
You're trying to build.
Everything that I do is not negative as it relates to you.
You should build me up like I build you up. You know, it's just like
It's
like two people coming together to work together in conjunction to make a product great. Okay. So that's who I am.
We are the world.
There we go. There we go. Sing it. Sing it.
We are the children. What's going on, man?
Man, it's all good, brother.
Yes,
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, listen. You know, sometimes at night, I'll go to sleep, and I'll remember in my dreams just what a great football player I was, and is.
Back in the day.
Is
that what you said?
And I'm thinking
was and is.
Was and is.
Because you is a great football player.
Yeah, I is a great football player. So you know, and so what I always end up dreaming, having these real elaborate dreams, and elaborate dreams,
in Technicolor
seem real serious, man. But I wake up and I'm like a 40-year-old, 50-year-old man still. But it seems as though people actually have these kind of dreams and get to live it out.
Yeah.
Bishop Sycamore got 20-year-old and 30-year-olds.
That's where you were going?
Yeah.
That's where you took all this time to go.
Because they getting an opportunity to live out they childhood dreams as adults.
Okay, so you got to explain what happened. So this fake high school
that duped ESPN
called, I guess that's a fake name? Is that a fake name?
I ain't never heard of Bishop Sycamore.
Somebody at ESPN didn't do any background or homework whatsoever. And so they end up on ESPN, on an ESPN featured game, playing IMG Academy, the best high school team in America.
Best high school football team in the country.
Right. And IMG ended up winning 58-zip.
So the fact that they were reliving
This
their
fake-
dreams.
Wait a minute.
I wonder if they dreamed about getting their ass whooped this bad.
Probably not, but it must be said that Bishop Sycamore, the Ohio high school football team, had 20 and 30-year-olds on the roster.
They had folks in the locker room putting Ben Gay on their knees and stuff at halftime.
Oh, my God.
Like, Lord have mercy, Jesus
And
Christ.
these kids went out there and
waxed
A-double-S.
Yes, they did. You waxed them.
Oh,
waxed
my
them.
goodness.
So
that's
now
funny.
they got dreams of reliving their childhood dreams, but also reliving getting their ass whooped.
I just got one thing to say to ESPN. Come on, man. Who y'all got working?
Oh, man. But ESPN, man, yeah, who do you all have working? Who's doing the research?
Mercy.
I mean, no one vetted this school? What, did they just tell a friend, hey, man, we got top-notch players over here. Y'all better get them on national TV. And here we go. ESPN, man, you all are taking some L's, man. You got the whole Michelle Beadle thing. You want to go all the way back. Then you got Rachel Nichols and calling out the young lady. I mean, ESPN, what is up with y'all? Y'all done lost Dan Lebitard and everybody. I mean, ESPN, y'all are losing right now.
Come on, man.
Do something with yourself, man. Get some new talent in there.
Don't go down like that.
Come on, man.
Don't
John
go
Skipper,
down.
come back,
Don't
John.
go
John,
down
come
like
back,
that.
John Skipper.
We
come
have
back.
got
We need you.
a fantastic R&R on sports.
Wait a minute, but what
show
does
for
R&R
you today.
stand for you?
R&R stands for rest and relaxation, relax and repeat. Robinson and Robertson anything you want.
You said Robinson first, so that's right. I'm glad you got that one. Yeah, absolutely. Because we are on our own sports. And listen, if you miss anything or you want to don't worry about that. Go to your podcast provider, download the podcast, listen to R&R on Sports.
Yeah, you about to send them to ESPN. See,
Don't listen to
Karma.
Send them R&R on Sports. Go to your podcast provider, listen to some of the amazing shows.
And check us out when we get back. We got a fantastic show for you. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be back for more R&R on Sports right after this.
Yo, this your boy Chris Brown.
David West of the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
And you're listening to a little R&R on sports.
One day, it's the race of the century, a.k.a. Get High and Fly, a winner-take-all 100-meter dash featuring, from Jamaica, Olympic gold medalist Elaine Thompson-Herah, Olympic silver medalist Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Olympic bronze medalist Sharika Jackson, a couple of other people, and the sixth fastest woman in the world, Sha'Carri Richardson.
Talk all the you want, because I'm here to stay. I'm not done. I'm the sixth fastest woman in this game.
Get High and Fly is smoke or be smoked, since ganja is a way of life in Jamaica, and we know Sha'Carri likes to toke too. For the first time ever, race participants will get together, listen to some music, and solve all the world's problems while smoking half a joint each. Then it's on to the track, because once they get high, it's time to fly. This is a USOC Us on Cannabis sanctioned event, and the winner will be crowned not the GOAT, but the GROAT, ganja runner of all time. So will Sha'Carri Richardson talk smack and prove it on the track?
I'm not done. You know what I'm capable of.
Or will she get blazed by those fast-ass Jamaicans?
Yeah, man.
Place your bets, turn up, and tune in to Get High and Fly, the race of the century. Remember, it's all happening one day.
Riffin' on Jazz.
Mr. Chuck.
Yes, sir. Here we
doing,
are.
man?
Oh, man, I'm ready to get some history
Back
going
again.
on.
We got it.
This
for
is
you.
it.
We've got it for you. Today we're doing 8 eras of jazz.
Yes.
Riffin' on Jazz on the Kazookian Network. Kazookian!
Welcome back to R&R on Sports on the Kazookian Network. So much to talk about.
So much.
Let's start at the top with the tallest dude in the world.
I don't know about the world, but he'll do till
and
he gets
got
here.
money as big as him.
I'm telling you,
I'm
brother.
talking about Shaquille O'Neal.
The big Shaq Diesel.
Man.
He's
Isn't
making
that
moves,
good?
brother.
Isn't this good?
He's making moves,
Talk
man.
about him. Tell him
So
more of that.
listen. A few months ago, Shaq did the big thing with Papa John's. Now, and actually was instrumental in moving Papa John's headquarters to Atlanta. So Shaq's playing the game at a whole nother level.
No, this is after Papa John's had some racial issues too.
Yeah. And then now Shaq done came back and working with the Authentic Brands group and bought Reebok.
Reebok.
Man, and that's playing the game
That's
at
what
a
I'm
whole
talking
nother
about.
level. That is really doing something special, and I want to give a big old shout out and lifetime flowers right now to the big Shaq Diesel, man. Show these young boys the way to make moves after they exit the court.
And
man.
in case y'all didn't know, Shaq's been making bank. Yeah. Shaq has been making money since he came out of the league, and you see him on these general
insurance commercials. Yeah,
and he's got ownership
Ring.
stake.
He's ownership stake in Ring. I mean, Shaq is doing things. I mean, did you hear about how he did the Ring situation? No. He literally did a cold call on the company and said, "Hey, I'm Shaquille O'Neal. I want to talk to the CEO."
Go, Shaq.
He said, "I don't want to do an endorsement deal." He said, "I want to invest in your company, and then my endorsement,
equity.
I want some equity in the endorsement. I want to be paid for the advertisements I'm gonna do for you guys, but I want to put some money in first."
Is it something about basketball? Because, going back to Going back to Magic.
Junior Bridgman.
Junior Bridgman is doing
just bought Ebony magazine.
Is killing it.
Is bought a big Coca-Cola distributorship
in Canada.
I mean, it's some NBA players that are doing some great things. Chauncey
and of course
Billups,
Magic.
Chauncey Billups just bought a tremendous amount of
Michael
Wendy's.
Jordan. Yeah,
well, Michael Jordan was one of the standard bearers.
How come we can't go down a list of NFL players like that and that are doing stuff like that? They make big money.
They're probably suffering from CTE.
So whoa. Congratulations,
I'm sure it's just that they
Shaq.
haven't gotten as much publicity. I'm sure there's some NFL players out there doing some amazing things. I'm sure there's MLB players out there doing some great stuff.
We're proud of you.
But Shaq, LeBron, Michael Jordan, Junior Bridgman, Chauncey Billups, just to name a few. Shoot, Kevin Durant with 35 Ventures is doing some amazing things. Just got think he's going to get a big payout with Whoop.
Did you say LeBron?
I said LeBron.
Okay.
LeBron, LeBron goes without saying, but really it's this hip hop generation that seems to be really leveraging the financial acuity and acumen that allows them to make moves at a different level. I mean, they're meeting with the Warren Buffetts of the world. They're meeting with the Bill Gates of the world and some of the better financial people that have made some phenomenal moves. And I just commend these young men for just outstanding work.
I love it that they have adopted and adapted the philosophy of a statement that I first heard Robert Kennedy make years and years ago. Some men see things that are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not. And that's what they are doing. That's what they are doing. So congratulations. Tell you somebody else is kicking the door in right here. Everybody knows that we're based out of Memphis, Tennessee, and very, very proud of that. And we have a university here called the University of Memphis, and we have a coach of which you may have heard. His name is Penny Hardaway.
You talking about Lil Penny?
Lil Penny. Well, that's his brother. That's his little brother. And powered by Chris Rock. But Penny
and his team making some moves. So listen, first thing that he caught me was when he hired Larry Brown.
Yes.
When they hired Larry Brown, that told me that Penny is really looking to do something special.
Absolutely.
And then came back.
Who did he follow that up with?
Rasheed Wallace.
On the coaching staff. He got coaching.
So what I believe is happening is Penny being one of those brands that have really transcended time and space with the Lil Penny brand and the shoes and whatnot. I think young players are looking at him in this whole name, image, and likeness era of basketball and saying, let me go to somebody who did it.
Absolutely. And that's
let me go somewhere, somebody who did it.
That's how he says, and he revealed that's how he got Imani Bates.
Oh,
he
really?
said he was just talking to him one-on-one about being a big guard because this guy is 6'7", I believe. And he said that, Imani Bates had apparently, had been compared to him because his daddy, came up in the era of Penny and all of that. And always talked about Penny because Penny was that quintessential big guard.
Man, barring injuries, Penny would have been really special, man.
Oh, man.
Penny would have been something else.
I just want shout-outs to his team, and they know who they are because he's not doing this alone. He's got a tremendous team behind him that have what I call the 3 R's.
What's that?
3 R's: reputation, relationships, resources.
Absolutely.
You can make whatever you want happen.
Go ahead,
from
make that alliteration, man.
Hey, there it is.
Your mama was an English teacher.
So she was. She absolutely was. So what? Yes, again, right here in Memphis, Tennessee.
What you got?
Guess who the head coach is of Lemoyne-Owen College, which is the HBCU here in Memphis, Tennessee? Tell them.
Bonzi Wells. Another. See, look at this. See what's happening? HBCUs are becoming a proving ground for former ball players because some of these institutions, the PWIs that some of these guys came out of, like
That's
Bonzi,
predominantly white institutions,
like Bonzi Wells at Ball State, Didn't get an opportunity to go back to Ball State. Kind of remind me like a homecoming when you go to a PWI. You kind of get put in the corner somewhere. But you got that. You got Monty Williams down in Alabama State. You got a few other. You got Deion Sanders that stepped in the coaching realm at Jackson State.
Of course.
You got Eddie George over at Tennessee State.
Wonder if we will have any drafted in the NFL this year.
I bet you we will.
I bet the hell we will, too.
I bet you we will. It's a good time, man. It's a good time.
Absolutely. So,
change is happening. Transformation is happening.
Talk a little bit about football. What you think about Cam?
Man, I think it was a bad situation.
Being released.
I didn't think that ever fit anyway. I mean, last year, the whole time Bill Belichick sitting back talking about, that Cam wasn't their ideal quarterback. And then Cam,
no lie.
Cam is a little over the top in his dress, in his behavior, and everything else. Not saying he's a bad guy.
In his complexion.
And his complexion. And I think for the New England, Boston area, I think he was a little much. And when they were able to vet Mac and Cheese, as Cam calls him, when they were able to vet Mac and Cheese and give him a preseason to see how well he would play, they saw what they needed to see.
They saw their vision.
And I appreciate
their vision of what their quarterback
right.
should
They
be.
wanted Tom Brady 2.0, and that's what they wanted. And Cam could not be that, and would not be that. And so I think that's where they moved on.
I heard somebody mention two. They in their minds good places for Cam to land, and that
is he going to land as a starter or is he going to land as a backup? That's the question I have.
Backup opportunity for one, and he could be a starter for the other.
Okay.
Backup opportunity is the Cowboys.
Right. You think he's going to take out Atlanta, Matty Ice? Man,
possible.
I can see that. With him being from Atlanta,
possible.
with him having many business holdings in Atlanta, I think he would be an ideal pick to run the Atlanta Falcons team.
So be on the lookout for that. So, man, we have such a dynamic, fantastic, little-known guest today. She won't
be little known for long.
Okay.
She won't be little known for long.
She is one of the top women's basketball coaches in America, and that's all I'm gonna say about that right now.
So cold that people just could not stand it, and so the team, big PWI, came in and took the whole staff. Stay right there,
everybody.
Stay right there, because we got Vanessa, Blair-Lewis.
I wasn't gonna tell them.
You weren't gonna tell them?
No.
On R&R on Sports. Keep your butt in your seat. Keep your radio tuned. We'll be back in a second. R&R on the Kazuki Network. Shut up.
I got up and went to the gym at 9 o'clock this morning. We talked about on the show the kind of workouts I do. It's not fun. I work out until I feel like I'm either going to pass out or throw up. And when I get to that point, I'm just like, oh, I haven't done either. Guess I got to keep going.
The hell with all of that.
And then, like,
I
after
got, like, tasks and stuff to do afterwards.
Exactly. I was tired, balls.
Black Nerd Power on the Kazukian Network.
Kazukian!
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I was actually trying to rush through it so that you wouldn't have time, but I should know you're pretty quick on the trigger. We are no less thrilled to have for you the best interviews ever. And for most of you, the first time that you've heard a lot of these folks, and today is absolutely no different. We are thrilled to have with us Coach Vanessa Blair-Lewis, coach of the George Mason Patriots, and one of the greatest women's basketball coaches anywhere, anytime. Coach, welcome to R&R on Sports.
Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you so much.
Hold on. Before y'all
I just tell what the Lord loves, and that's the truth.
Now you're a lie. See, you're lying right there. So listen. And let me tell you something. Lynn Thompson, athletic director at Bethune-Cookman, described Coach Blair-Lewis as a phenomenal person who happens to be a great coach. What you got to say? What you got to say about that, Coach Lewis?
Man, I'm just an image reflecting the mirror I was able to look into for the last 14 years, because that's who he is. He was an athletic director. He was a great man who just happened to be an AD.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's a great way. Just start out with all kind of love. Just love.
Mutual love. Just feel it.
Love all over there. Just feel it.
Open your arms and close your eyes. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Coach, we always start with a little bit about the journey. And tell everyone give us, we like to say the Cliff Notes version. Give us a Cliff Notes version of this stellar, outstanding career.
Wow. I would be remiss to say if this was any of my planning or doing. I think we make our plans and God laughs.
Absolutely.
For me, growing up, I wanted to be a prosecuting attorney. So coaching was never in my, radar. That was nothing I ever wanted to do. But God put me on a track that he has kept me on for the last 24 years. And so I played for my father at high school, at Largo High School, right here in Maryland, in the DMV.
What part of Maryland?
Mitchellville.
Okay.
Yeah, just near Upper Marlboro.
Okay.
And so my dad was my first real look at what and how coaches should be to young women. And he ran our program as a family. And he was a dad to me, obviously, but I watched him be a dad to other girls who didn't have a father at home. He would come in, he worked for the federal government, Department of HUD. And so he took on that job as an emergency coach because no one wanted to coach us in that year.
Wow.
He stayed there 20 years, won several championships, state tournament. But I remember one of the girls saying to me as she passed my dad in the hallway, "Wow, I never have seen a man carry an attaché case." My dad would come in from work with his attaché case to practice every day, to be there for us. And so you get spoiled when you have that figure at home, when you have that role model. But these other girls that he helped send to college, hundreds of girls in that 20 years, he put on a track to change the life of them and their life generationally forever. And so I went on to college and I played for another male, Bill Sheehan, late Bill Sheehan. He coached at Holy Cross, which was in Virginia, Maryland. He won 100 games before he lost one in high school. He was an amazing coach. And then he took the job at Mount St. Mary's, where I followed years later and played under another stellar legend. And then when that journey was over, I was ready to go to law school at University of Virginia. And a team in Sweden called me and said, "Hey, we'd like for you to come play professionally." And I did. I enjoyed that tremendously. And when I got back home to the States, I was kind of in between the WNBA and I had a trial with the Mystics. And then I was like, well, do I go to law school? And my dad was like, well, just wait. You're only going to be young enough to play this game while you're young enough to play the game. Once it's over, then real life, you can get them bills later.
Right.
So my college coach called Coach Sheehan and said, "Hey, I got a spot. Why don't you come back, coach with me while you get ready for, playing?" And I was rehabbing my knee at the time, nothing major surgery, but just, meniscus stuff. And I said, well, that sounds like a great trade-off. I can train, I can play with the girls, and I can get ready to try out with the Mystics in the spring.
Right.
And so I did that, made it to the last cuts with the Mystics. And I was like, okay, well, maybe now I'll go to law school. And my coach convinced me one more year, just stay with me one more year. And so I did. I did 2 years as an assistant coach at Mount St. Mary's. And in September of going into the third year, where I was like, okay, this is it. I'm just going to do one more year and then I'm going to law school. He said, okay. And he called me into his office in September. We had started preseason and everything. He said, "Vanessa, I just want to let you know first, outside of my family, that I'm going to retire." I said, Coach, what a stellar career he's had there, won championships and all that. And I was just so blessed to be a part of just being with him and him welcoming me back as a former player on his staff. And I was thinking in my mind, wow, I can't wait to celebrate this year. Let's go win it all for him and parties at the end. And he said, well, I've already spoke with the athletic director and you have a press conference on Thursday where they'll name you my successor.
Wait a minute, hold on. Time out. Listen, you're listening to R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with George Mason's women's head coach, Vanessa Blair-Lewis. Now, finish the story, Coach.
So
you got a press conference coming up Thursday.
Yeah, in a couple of days. I said, hold up, wait a minute. All these men in my life making these decisions for me. I don't know if that's what I want to do. I said, let me call my dad.
Okay.
I called my dad. I told him what I just told you guys. And he said, oh, yeah, we'll be up. What time's the press conference? I said, Dad, I don't know if
What did you expect? Like, don't do it?
A conversation at least.
Okay.
Maybe what do you think? Or
right.
What is your choice in this? Nope, no decision, no choice. Not only did he convince me, but he was very. He said, "You've given a lot to this game, and now it's time for you to give back to this game." Mm-hmm. And what better way to do it? What better person to do it than a person who's played there, who's an alumnus from there, who understands the game, and not too far away in age from them. I was 24. I was one of the youngest head coaches in the country.
Wow.
A Division I head coach at 24. So some of those girls I literally had played with when they were freshmen. So it was a phenomenal journey from them. And my mom, when she got, I said, you know what, Dad, put Mom on the phone. I'm not talking to you. Let me ask Mom.
You ain't talking right.
The mom said, to whom much is given, much is expected.
Required. Yeah. Yes.
So this is your time now to give back to something that has been given to you. You've gotten an education paid for. The basketball took you around the world to play professionally. And now it's time for you to invest back. And so I took that job. And this job has led me to a lot of places and now back home, where I've been able to touch and impact some of the youngest and brightest minds of this game, and have been able to be touched and impacted by some of the youngest and brightest minds in this game.
You're listening to Coach Vanessa Blair-Lewis of George Mason Patriots, head coach of the women's team. So, Coach, let's go back.
Okay.
When did you look at that orange ball and say, damn, I love you. I don't want to go nowhere without you. You are my everything. Do you remember that day?
I don't remember that day. And I'll say it in this way because I don't ever remember having to fall in love with something, because it was always there.
Okay.
So my family, I have a very storied basketball family.
Okay.
My cousin Adrian Branch, which many of you may remember, played at Maryland, played for the Lakers championship, played for the late Morgan Wooten at DeMatha. Ted Jeffries played at University of Virginia. Now does his own podcast, Step to the Mic podcast with Andre Jones. My sister, who was one of the youngest young women in the 11th grade to try out for the Olympics in '88. My whole family, these are all first cousins.
In basketball?
In basketball. My entire family, my mom and dad met while in the Navy, and they met and played for the United States Navy, and that's how they met, both playing basketball. Like, there was never a time basketball wasn't in my life. And so my cousins, my mom is one of 11, my dad is one of 8. All of our first cousins, we play basketball, and most of us played at a very high level. So there was never a time that I had to fall in love with something, because it was always there.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow, that's a phenomenal story.
That is fantastic. It's kind of, basketball's kind of the family business in so many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah, whenever you come to the house, even to this day, my dad has early onset dementia. So with that disease that the short-term memory, the things that have happened right now are fleeting.
Yes.
Right. The long-term memory, is sharp. So when you come around Dad and you talk about basketball in the DMV, he's going back. Len Bias, he remembers all the girls he coached. He remembers the state championship, what suit he wore. Like, he can get down with you on any basketball level. And that was the way it was when you came to our house. You came to the back door, you sat down at the kitchen table, and basketball was talked about.
Okay, now real quick before we go to break, I want to know what impact did Len Bias's death have on you as a basketball player?
You want now?
Yeah.
I remember, and this is actually what a lot of people talk about in the DMV. Where were you when you heard?
Yep. I remember where I was.
Yeah, I may have been 9, 8, maybe 10, and I was vacuuming the rug in the summertime because we had to get all of our chores done before mom and dad came home so that we could have these extracurricular activities. And I was vacuuming the rug. My brother was upstairs. My sister was in the other room, and I just heard them screaming. And I was just like over the sound of it, and I'm looking at the TV, and it pops up. And my brother comes down, who's 6 years older than me. So he and Adrian Branch and all of them played with this guy, like on the playgrounds.
Right.
Eric's like, he's gone. Now, this is a guy who, because Adrian's my first cousin, Len Bias comes home with him. They grew up down the street from each other. We know him.
Right.
And at that time, at 9, 10 years old, you're thinking, kind of not what death means, but it hadn't hit me yet. My grandparents are still alive. My mom and dad are alive. Like, I haven't had to bury anyone yet. So you know about it through TV and theory, but not in practice yet. And I'm like, so he's not playing anymore? Was my first thought.
Wow.
Because I just could not imagine, like, he's no longer here. And the days and weeks that followed watching Lanice Bias with the strength that she had go on without her son and take to the mic to stop to Say No to Drugs campaign, where that became a huge impact in our community. And she took up that cross literally for Christ as well. She's preached the gospel and she went around the country, and she still does. And I just watched strength. I watched young people change because of something so impactful to them. And it became real in our community that crack was obviously huge in the 80s in our communities, but that as young people, we were not immune to death.
Yes, yes. And that is an important emotion and feeling and lesson for young folk to learn, because it's not part of our purview. We're young. We've got all the energy in the world. Our friends are with us. We're going to live forever. And death is not a part of our
experience.
About experience right there. For somebody older, yeah. I mean, that, our older relatives and friends and family friends and whatnot, we come to understand. But when it hits somebody in our realm that we interact with, that we got, it's a whole different experience. So that's a wonderful point made, because I can recall that at 69, I can recall how that felt when I was 9.
Well, listen, we're going to pick it up on the other side. We're going to pick up the energy. We're going to find out how Coach Lewis felt coaching at an HBCU. On the other side of the break, we'll be right back with more on Our Own Sports right after this.
Keeping it real, right, and funky.
The most profound thing that I remember from the days of my youth was not Muhammad Ali. It was Emmett Till. The word was not to watch how you driving back in 1955 was don't look at a white woman.
Funky Politics on the Kazukian Network.
Kazukian!
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Thrilled to be talking to Coach Vanessa Blair-Lewis. One of the greatest coaches of all time, started out as a head coach at the tender age of 24 years old in a D1 school, and has not looked back since, and got all the recognitions and awards to prove it. Coach, talk about, so the experience, let's just cap off that initial engagement, that initial experience, being there, being 24, being head coach, being the coach of, you were literally the coach of some players that were freshmen that you played with. Is the first year, was that correct?
Yeah, that's just about correct. Yeah, I was 24, and so those freshmen that were coming in were definitely people I had known.
Wow. So takeaways, lessons learned from beginning such an awesome career and coaching career at such a young age?
I'll say the biggest lesson I learned was moving from a player to a coach. It was all about winning. Like I had won my whole career. I won in high school. I won in college. I won the opportunity to go play professionally. I came back to a winning program that I had helped to continue establish. And now I get the reins of a job from a legend who was the winningest coach at that university that I was able to play under. And I have this pressure at 24 to continue this legacy. And I don't have all of the experience to be tied in to do it. So I knew at that point I had to hire the staff that could support my youth. Mm-hmm. So I hired Adrian Branch. He lived right there in Gaithersburg, Maryland. He was home from one of his excursions from playing in Australia. I was able to hire a guy from around the area who was older than me, who had been coaching. And so I was able to have this insulation, if you will, that would allow me to get the experience while I was learning on the job, that could help me in my blind spots, so to speak, that I just didn't know. And so in those early years, we won, and it was great. And then we hit a rough patch, and it may have been like year 7 or something. And I don't know, maybe we didn't win 20 games that season. And that really hurt me a lot. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm letting everyone down. What do I do? And, maybe I fuss more, maybe I work them out harder. You're just pulling on things because I don't have that in my arsenal to know what it's like to lose, because I had only won. So I'm looking at other coaches and they yell and they fuss and they get on them, and maybe we go another half hour, we get up early and I'm doing this. And then I realized that's not working either. And so what ended up changing was I had a conversation with my coach, who at that time was still around. He still would come back to practice. And I had a conversation with my dad, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And he said, what was the thing that worked for you when you were playing? And I was like, well, I got in the gym. I came early. I stayed late. And both of them dug deeper for me to get to the point where the realization of why I was able to win in those environments was because of the relationship that was there. My dad was my coach. He cared about me, whether I made or missed the layup. Coach Sheehan was a coach's family man. He cared about me outside of the lines. That coaching now was not just about having the best talent to win, because when I didn't have that talent, there was nothing to sustain me at that point, because I didn't have the experience to know what to do then. And then that was the moment that I realized that I was not coaching as a job, that this was the ministry that I was able to get from God. Mm-hmm. That for me, God was saying, hey, I'm giving you 15 girls at the most every year to pour into them.
Wow. Mentally,
physically, and spiritually. The winning will come, because I'm not going to put you in a place where you're not going to be successful. And maybe the winning doesn't come on the board the way you think. Maybe the winning comes because you saved one kid's life. Maybe you're there for a kid whose parents divorced and they're in college and they're away. Maybe you're there for that kid who's struggling because she's a first generational kid that's going to college, and she's calling back home to say, I don't know if I can do it. And there's no one there on the other end to say, yes, you can, because none of them have had that experience. And so I realized then that coaching wasn't about wins and losses. It was about pouring into the lives of young people and giving them a space to pour back into you and making it a real relationship. And that is at the point where I coach now, that we recruit players to be in their lives for the rest of their lives. Not for 4 years, but I want that call when you have a baby shower, when you're going to get married. But hold on, check this out, Larry. I've gotten the first call when a parent has died.
Wow.
I said, well, who else did you call? Coach, the first one I could think of was you.
How beautiful is that?
I'm on my way. And it didn't matter if she scored 1,000 points for me or sat the bench. I'm on my way, because that's what my coaching began to mean to me back then, that it's a ministry. And so every day I get up, y'all, I win. I win because I show up for them and I allow them to show up for me. And what does that mean? I'm vulnerable too. that there are times where, you know what, I walk in the locker room and I say, y'all, I got that wrong. That's my fault. That's my fault. I'm going to take that. You know, maybe I talked a little too harshly today. You know, that's my fault. And so then there's a dichotomous relationship that forms, that they feel like it's not here and here, that we're here. No, you still have, you know, the authority. You're still the authority figure. But I remember and I recall that what God had set up for me a long time ago was that I played for my dad. Mm-hmm. It was a relationship. And then I went to a coach in college that had a relationship with me. And I've been able to have relationships. And people say, what is the secret of winning? Vanessa, come speak at the coaches clinic. Tell us how you win. The things I talk about are not plays.
That is so beautiful. I don't want to.
You hate to interrupt.
I don't want to interrupt you
because I'm ready to pass the plate. I'm ready to, at the Holy Trinity Church of George Mason.
Please,
we gonna pass the plate.
Please, Larry. Please.
An offering for Coach Blair-Lewis.
No. Stand down. Okay. Yeah. So
I want to know the difference between the kids. I want to know the difference between the kids at George Mason and what made her leave Mount St. Mary's and go to Bethune-Cookman.
Take the atypical path HBCU. Of going from a D1 program to an HBCU. That's the question.
Okay, so later in my career there, I spent 11 years at the Mount. But prior to that, I'd already spent 4 years as a player. So I'm halfway. I'm in early 30s, and I felt that at a point I was just not complete, that there was something missing. And y'all, I didn't know what it was, because what better life could I have? I'm still in Maryland. I'm close to my family. My dad can come to every game. Obviously, he's a big influencer, impact and influence in my life. I'm at my alma mater. They love me. I love them. We're winning. The next step for me is not HBCU. It was not even in my mind to even leave the Mount. So I'm not thinking of any next steps. I'm just really happy with what I'm doing. But my spirit kept saying there's something. I just didn't know what it was. And then I got a call from Ed Davis, who was at Morgan State now, but had been in HBCU circuit for his whole career.
Right.
And he said, Vanessa, there's an opening at Bethune-Cookman University. And I was like, what? Where is that?
Where?
Huh?
We're going to keep it real. I was like, what? Where is that? And, you know, he's like, Vanessa, Daytona Beach. Now, he and my uncle play ball together in West Virginia. So we're like family. He said, nah, you really should think about it. There's some young girls down there that would need somebody like you. And I'm like, okay. So I've researched it. I go to the Final Four. I meet the SWA. And I agree to come on an interview. So I get flown to Daytona Beach, and I'm like, oh, hey, this is already okay. Daytona Beach, palm tree. And I really know ignorantly, y'all, little to none about HBCU. Yes, I grew up in Maryland. Howard's in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably one of the best, HBCU.
Morgan's in your backyard. Hampton's in your backyard.
Hampton's in my backyard. Like all of these schools, but I wasn't recruited by them. So I never had experience to go on campus. I was, a highly touted player coming out of the area. So I'm not going to say I wasn't. I just didn't go to any of those visits. And I know in theory about their established place in history for us. I know in theory. But I get to the campus and I'm like, okay, nice. Okay. And then this is what did it for me. I'm sitting with the players. They're interviewing me as a part of the interview. And I can imagine what I sound like to them because they only won one game the year before. They had never had a winning record for a long time. And I'm coming in with all we do is win, win, win. They're probably like, who is this girl? What do you mean you're going to turn this thing around? And I asked the girls, my last question was, what do you want out of your next head coach? And y'all, I'm not thinking about taking this job. I'm just getting interview practice. I just didn't know what it was, but she asked this question. She said, she answered me this way. Coach, I just want someone that's not going to quit on us.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Everything they showed me every palm tree, every beach, every great meal. Lynn Thompson, arguably the best athletic director in the world. All of those were great. But that question, that answer to my question, what do you want? And her answer of, we just want someone who's not going to quit on us.
That's gorgeous.
And it wasn't, to me, just a shot at who the last coach was. I think it was so much deeper. It was, we want someone that's not going to quit on us in life, that they had been let down so much in life. And I walked out of there and I got to the finishing up and I got on the airplane and I said, I have to take this job.
Wow. And we got to speed along, but let me just say 4-time MEAC Coach of the Year. First coach in MEAC history to win that award 3 consecutive years. And on and on. Wonderful. And now here's what the rumor has it. Lore has it that one day somebody pulled up on the campus and had the boombox on top of the car, and it was playing this tune that's going to be played in post. And I think it's called Everybody in the Club Getting Tipsy. Only they were playing Everybody on the Staff Going to George Mason. And
that was a stretch, wasn't it, Coach?
And the entire staff, your entire staff ends up at George Mason. Now, is any part of that true?
That was a stretch. I know it's hard, Coach. That's hard. But that's when you have old folks. That's what you got to deal with.
Yeah, the last part is true. The entire staff did end up at George Mason.
Everybody on the staff going to Mason.
Everybody.
Well, that says everything about the amazing coach that you are. But we're going to have to pick this up. We're going to have to have you back, Coach. We're going to have you back during the season when you can actually do some recruiting. We can check in on how you're winning, how's everything shaping up. Because I want to know, because you said you wouldn't quit on them, but then you quit and took the whole staff to George Mason. So I want to know what made you decide to quit on them after you said you wasn't going to quit on them.
No, don't make her get into that. How long were you at Bethune?
I was at Bethune 14 years. Ain't nobody
14 years, okay.
And you know what?
Okay.
And you ain't gonna end the show like that with me. Hold up.
Okay, well, go ahead. What you got?
We're gonna say it right.
Okay.
I told Lynn Thompson when he hired me that I would win and take this team to the NCAAs. Now hold on. This is a team had not won but one game. Unheard of. This was not the trek that they had been on. And I stayed until we got on that plane to Notre Dame. And I came good with that.
That's what I'm talking about.
So no,
that's what I'm talking about.
Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name. That's what she said.
The Lord had a different assignment for me, y'all.
Okay.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I'm just in a different assignment, but HBCU is still in me.
There you go.
Coach Vanessa Blair-Lewis. It has been my personal pleasure. And
you ain't gonna do all the Coaster Nostra.
Well, no. She knows she's got to come back. She knows she's got to come back. She's family. She's family now. She can't just come on. She got to stay with us. And she's accustomed to doing that. She ain't gonna quit on us. So we know this. Thank you for being here with us on R&R on Sports. We look forward with great anticipation to you coming back and being with us. And we appreciate it. We appreciate it. A phenomenal story. And thank you for sharing it with us.
And thank you for all that you've done and all that you continue to do for our young ladies.
Thank you so much for having me, y'all. This was fun. Time went by so fast.
It did.
We got a lot more to talk about. We'll be back for more R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports.
I was trying out with the Portland Trail Blazers. Thought I made the team. 2:00 in the morning, I get a phone call in my hotel, so I know that's not good. So
not at 2:00 in the morning, man.
And, he was cool about it. I mean, obviously they liked me and wanted to keep me, but tell me what flight I'm on so I can get back home.
Good. I can get out of here.
So I can get out of here.
It's R&R on Sports.
Kazukian.
R&R on sports as we get ready to get up out of here. So,
arrivederci.
In terms of
holla.
Our parting words and
5,000.
shout-outs, I want to shout out Major League Baseball.
Why?
I want to shout out Major League Baseball.
Did they change some policy on how they treat brothers?
No, man. Brothers doing very, very well.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I knew they were really intentional about engaging the urban community back into the game, trying to bring some more kind of coolness.
It's not a thing with black players. They got black players, but so many of their black players come from the Caribbean.
Right.
And one thing I want to see them do is to engage. I want to see more black baseball players signed to endorsement deals and whatnot, so kids see them in commercials and see them out there like they do basketball players.
Right, absolutely.
And so, but they have brought a sense of excitement back to baseball, and nothing does it better than playing close games, great pitching, and jacking that ball up over that dadgum wall.
Chicks love the long ball. Chicks love the long ball. They've been doing that,
so congratulations, MLB. And keep it up, and I want to see it translated into more fans, younger fans, and more that look like me. Who you got?
I got a real historic figure and one of the greatest players of all time. Now, we know him as Hall of Famer, excellent ball player, amazing defensive player, Bill Russell, one of the best in history. But what many people don't know is that Bill Russell was also a coach. He was a player coach.
Right.
One of the very few in NBA history.
One of the probably was the first.
I know he was the first, but I also know that it wasn't many that's come after him as
he
a
would
player
literally
coach.
Come off. He was coaching and would come off the bench and play.
So he's going into the Hall of Fame again, not as a player, but as a brother on the bench, as a coach. And to me, right there with Casey Jones, Lenny Wilkins, some of the other great African-American coaches that have been recognized for their success, I think it's long overdue that Bill Russell gets some lifetime flowers while he's here.
Absolutely. He told somebody, I forget what it was, somebody that was talking, young buck that was talking crazy. He looked at him and told him, you know what? There's a reason I got more rings than I got fingers.
Ooh. Don't let me slap you with one of them.
Backhand you.
Well, listen, man. We've done it again.
We got to roll. We appreciate you being with us here on R&R on Sports. Please check us out. Download the Kazukian app and check us out on all podcast providers and Sirius XM on Channel 203 Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and y'all know the rest.
There you go.
I'm Howard Robertson.
I'm Larry.
Y'all take care. Be cool. Pete!
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.